Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time for Ben. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, re-reviews, reviews, whatever it may be, topics, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or through my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, Ben wanted me to do a commentary on the 1989 action film The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. So, big fan of this movie, looking forward to it. Thanks once again, Ben. And I have the film up here. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. And then we have New World. Roger Corman's company released a lot of films throughout the 80s. Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, House and House 2, The Second Story, I think Warlock. I think the American version of Godzilla in 1985. But around this time, they were really in a big financial slump because of various reasons. And this film was supposed to go into theaters, but it never did, so it went straight to video. In fact, I think it was Live Entertainment, the VHS, which actually was part of Caracol. You know, Caracol that released Rambo 2 and helped release a Cliffhanger and all this other stuff. That's why the VHS of this had the trailer for Jacob's Ladder, which was a Caracol movie. And that was 1990. I always thought this was a cool opening. Sort of the shooting range of this glass being shot, and then like all these different locations that maybe the Punisher has gone, will go to, is this like bullseye thing coming towards the camera. And every once in a while, the Punisher is killing people in the opening credits. Well, it's glass, but I mean, fuck, Punisher is shooting things in the opening credits. I mean, a minute in, he's shooting shit. I love this movie. There's a punk, class of '84, boom, shoot you right, turn to glass. That's how badass this Punisher is. He turns people into fucking glass. That's how scared they are. I don't want to be a person anymore. They just shatter. Literally shattered. Great score by Dennis Dreith. I can't pronounce his last. I love the score to this. And this is my favorite Punisher film. I like the Thomas Jane Punisher, not so much the Ray Stevenson Punisher, but I love this movie. I don't think it's nearly as bad as people make it out to be. I think it's completely underrated. I sure talked about this, about, you know, films that I love and it seems like everyone hates. The '89 Punisher movie. One of my favorite Dolph Lundgren films. I watched this many times when I was a kid. It doesn't have the skull. I don't give a fuck. Hugh Jackman never wore his goddamn costume as Wolverine and no one fucking gave a shit. Directed by Mark Goldblatt, that name passed by. Mark Goldblatt was an editor. He edited Terminator 2, Predator 2, Rambo First Blood Part 2, a lot of big action movies. I think Commando he had a hand in editing. That's why I know there's an interview with Mark Goldblatt, and he said that, you know, he was editing Predator 2, and James Cameron said at the time he was a fan of Predator 2. Although I remember there was a time that James Cameron said nice things about Alien vs. Predator when that came out, so who knows. Now, this was supposed to be in New York, but I think they just couldn't afford it, so it went to a different city. It still was a lower budgeted film. But yeah, Mark Goldblatt, he had directed a film before this called Dead Heat with Treat Williams and Joe Piscopo. And that got a Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome. This film never got a big Blu-ray in the US. I mean, there's a Blu-ray from Umbrella Entertainment, which I do have that one. But it must be some rights issues, because again, New World Pictures was in a financial slump. They were supposed to go into theaters. It didn't. They got dumped the video. Then again, it was Live Entertainment, and again, Caracol had a hand in that. And then Live Entertainment, I think, became Artisan. Because I think there was a DVD released, I believe, and that was Artisan. I could be wrong on that, but it was Artisan Entertainment, and that was like Lionsgate, and then I think people don't know 100% who owns the rights to this, in the US at least, the North American rights. And I mean, look, we had the Punisher shooting things in the beginning, and now we're almost 5 minutes in, and we don't have the Punisher do his thing. I mean, when you watch the Punisher film, you want to see him do his fucking dirty business, and he does. And this, he does it in more secretive ways. Other ways, he does it much more explosively. Shooting people with shotguns, machine guns. He shoots like a fucking crossbow at one point in order to slide down. It sticks in the guy. He's breaking women's necks because they try to cut his face up. He's throwing knives into other women's foreheads. There's like 50 guys. Fucking badass. Love this Punisher. He's a badass motherfucker. There you go. Break his fucking neck. Kicked him off the damn banister. Little improv. Little hanging there. This Punisher doesn't fuck around. Again, the music I liked has a bit of a moody atmosphere to the music. They don't reveal the Punisher right away. You just see him do his killing. Decent camera work push in. And sort of mysterious figure of the Punisher. Blow up the place. That's the Punisher. Blow the shit out of everything. Now, I don't know how many bombs he planted to blow out the top of the window as well. But there you go. Holy shit, it's the Punisher. There you go. Just enough to tell him, hey, I exist. Watch out. Hide his face. Escape. Now, I should mention that the original work print, which was on the Umbrella Entertainment Blu-ray, has an extended opening that I wish was kept in. They really wanted to get in on the action. I actually like this monologue because it shows that, you know, Frank, when you're the Punisher, Frank, you're a little bit crazy. I think Dolph actually does a good job in these monologues. Already said to the world, here is punishment. Here is punishment. Here in me. And the way they make this face is to kind of look like a skull. And yeah, it shows just how fucking crazy Frank Castle is. I mean, again, Frank Castle is a bit crazy. Now this is a truncated way of the opening. But yeah, there was a big old opening, like 15 minutes long, where you saw Dolph Lundgren and Louis Gossett Jr. as partners. And they're dealing with this bad guy played by Jeroen Krabbé. And then there's he pretty much orders a hit on Dolph Lundgren and his family. Because Dolph and Louis Gossett Jr. are on like a stakeout, and there's like a thing with like a wrestling ring, like boxing ring. I forget the details, it's been forever since I've seen it. They also introduces Nancy Everhard's character, who is undercover as a hooker. That's why on the back of the VHS tape, if you have the VHS tape, on the back there's a scene where Dolph in plain clothes, standing next to Louis Gossett Jr. and standing next to what looks like a hooker. They put down the back of VHS as part of an opening that was never in there. And I like it because it established Frank Castle as this regular guy, loving dad, loving husband, partnered with Louis Gossett. His character had been a drunk. Frank Castle had helped him. Congrats on not, being sober for this long. And this establishes why Louis Gossett Jr. is so driven to find Frank Castle, because he saved his life. He wants to, out of the pit of despair, he wants to return the favor. And he had some decent action bits. That opening should have been kept in. It built up Frank Castle. We saw the human before he became the monster, so to speak. Established his family more. Again, like Nancy Everhard was introduced in that. This is why she says, "Remember me? I was the hooker." My first assignment. I was the hooker. Again, that was a reference to the opening. Now, Nancy Everhard, real quick, she was in Deep Star 6. And I think she did this film after Deep Star 6, just from what I understand what she was seeing, they liked her, so they cast her in this. And Nancy Everhard does a good job. And I love Louis Gossett Jr. I mean, Louis Gossett Jr., after An Officer and a Gentleman, he won the Oscar, and his career didn't really take off, I think, as well as other people thought. I mean, he was in Jaws 3 soon after for the paycheck, although I like Jaws 3. Iron Eagle is probably his most successful venture, because I got 4 films. And then he did this film. He worked together with Dolph on Cover Up. Because they don't have a lot of screen time together, but from what I understand, they liked working with each other, and then, again in Cover Up. But this is a lot better than Cover Up. But yeah, I love Louis Gossett Jr. Very solid, talented actor. I mean, this might be my favorite role of his. Now, this guy, Franco, Jeroen Krabbé, he's been in a couple other films, but the last time I saw him was in Deuce Bigalow 2, European Gigolo. But yeah, I love this movie. I love the action. I love the cast. Louis Gossett Jr., he's having fun with the role. Like the way he talks shit to Franco here. What's he say here? Much sun. Too much stress, huh? That's funny. See, now that would make a bit more sense with the opening, because Jeroen Krabbé, Louis Gossett knows Jeroen Krabbé had a hand in getting his partner's family killed. And that's gone from the opening being deleted. It was deleted because they wanted to get to the action faster and to make a 90-minute movie. But now that this film went straight to video, it should have been, once that was found out, let me go back and add this back in. And I don't think Dolph Lundgren was that happy with this movie. He's talked a little bit more about it on the Blu-ray. It's only like a 3-minute interview, so it's not much. But I think that opening being deleted probably made him a bit disgruntled about the film. Maybe there's other reasons as well. But he said he liked working with Mark Goldblatt and the action and stuff. And Dolph Lundgren at this time, he had done Rocky 4, and then Red Scorpion, which I love, that was 88. Masters of the Universe was 87. So Rocky 4 went from Masters of the Universe to Red Scorpion, and then to this movie. And then 1990, you had I Come in Peace. And Dolph Lundgren just has a bad luck. I love Red Scorpion, but there's some issues with the producer and his affiliation with something, so that release got a little bit wonky. But Red Scorpion's very fun. This film, New World Pictures went belly up, so it went straight to video, so that didn't anything. Although, to be honest, if it went to theaters, people would just trash it anyway. I Come in Peace should have been a lot bigger, because that's my favorite Dolph Lundgren film. I love I Come in Peace, but that did nothing. Shonen Low Tokyo is a great movie, but then Warner Brothers cut a lot of stuff out. That's why the movie's so short, like 70 minutes long. And then they were only released in like a handful of movie theaters. So obviously they lost interest or belief in the movie, even though Shonen Low Tokyo is great. Then Men of War was supposed to be a theatrical, but they thought, oh, Dolph doesn't sell. So Men of War just went straight to video in the US, and it got maybe in theaters overseas. But yeah, I Come in Peace, this movie, Shonen Low Tokyo, all this stuff, just, to me, were great kick-ass action movies. But, like I said, bad luck. Just bad luck. Just don't understand it. A lot of underrated films Dolph has. And then, Universal Soldier was a hit in 92. But other than that, I mean, he pretty much soon after 95, 96 or so was going more straight to video route. So you have this bum character, which I don't mind, this sort of spouting Shakespeare type of dialogue, but he's a drunk as well. He's an informant for the Punisher. I just, instead of microchip in the comic book, they have this guy. I just picture like Dolph walking to a damn store to buy a fucking remote control truck. I like how Dolph looks in the film. Again, for what I understand, the reason there's no skull is director Mark Goldblatt says they want to do something different. You know, in the comic at the time, there's a bit of spandex with this big skull on his chest. Although Mark Goldblatt says he does regret not using the logo, which might have helped the film. But his idea, you know, some people go, well, without the skull, he looks like just another generic, you know, action guy. But again, people give the pass to Hugh Jackman. And how many times has Hugh Jackman played Wolverine? X-Men, X-Men 2, X-Men The Last Stand, X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Origins Wolverine, The Wolverine, Logan. I mean, Dolph Lundgren only had one chance to be the Punisher. Hugh Jackman has had multiple chances, but yet no Wolverine costume. Said some deleted scene from the Wolverine that they showed it, then there was nothing happened with it. I think if you make a sequel, but I don't think Dolph would have been interested in a sequel. I know there was like a quick 5-minute thought process because, you know, it's the Punisher, but again, they said no, and I don't think Dolph, at least I don't think he was happy with the final product, so he would not have done it anyway. Now, if I understand, Mark Goldblatt's first idea for the Punisher was Christopher Lambert. But somehow Lambert injured his ankle, and then that led to Dolph Lundgren. But Christopher Lambert, that's a very... Ooh, shit. I mean, you can't say this movie isn't violent. So P. I don't know why, this guy reminds me like if he was a cousin of Sylvester Stallone. So P. Or like cousin of Frank Stallone. So P. But like I said, you can't say this movie isn't violent. I mean, you want a violent movie, this does it. You know, people getting stabbed in the stomach, they're getting, look at that, hit right in the head. I think it's cut in the neck. There you go. Which that lady will fight Dolph later. That would never fly today. Using the word that rhymes with maggot. Un-PC. Because bad guys are not PC, folks. Hate to break it to you. And I would sit there and go, would the movie really be liked by more people just because if he had a skull on his chest? If so, I mean, that, in the scheme of things, is kind of, you know, superficial. It's one thing with, like, the look of the actual Ninja Turtles and, like, Michael Bay's, you know, produced turtle movies, but to me, I think it captures the spirit of the Punisher comic, at least to me. Down and dirty, violent action movie. With some good scenes, like the scene with Lewis and Dolph in the police station. And you know, Dolph has a pretty damn big body count. Harpoons a guy, pretty much. You know, crossbow. I mean, this is badass. Sliding down. Exciting action store. Uses assortment of weapons. You got the machine gun. Come down. Boom. Shotgun. Boom. Boom. I mean, we're fucking 20 minutes in. Look at that. Shotgun to the face. Boom. Good stun. Roll back into that box. Pretty good cardio keep up with the damn van. There you go. Shoot the tire. And you know, Dolph being a martial artist and a great, physical guy, he's able to do a lot of the stunts, a lot of the physical stuff. Nice roll there with the shooting of the gun. Like I said, I don't really understand why this film gets such a harsh reputation. Again, if it's just for the skull, I think that's really lame. I'm sorry, Ray Stevenson had the damn skull, and that didn't make that movie good. Because I hate Warzone. It has violence, but it has really goofy CGI. Guy get blown up by a fucking rocket and turns to dust. Or smoke, I should say. And Jigsaw being like an over-the-top wannabe, like Joker. And Ray Stevenson just didn't do anything for me. Thomas Jane and Dolph, they're the Punisher I prefer. But yeah, Christopher Lambert, I don't know if I could see him as the Punisher. I really don't. I think, for me, Dolph was the better choice. I think this movie opened in theaters in other countries, but just not in the U.S. And the movie goes at a good pace. I mean, we have like a little over an hour left. You gotta take into account the end credits. And Mark Goldblatt, yeah, a guy who had edited action films, he definitely knows of how to pace a movie, being an editor. Here we did exposition about our Yakuza villains, which was a great choice to me to have the Yakuza as the villains. Yeah, I think that was a good choice. And the reason I like the Dolph Lundgren's Punisher, you tell this is a guy who... It's not an origin story if you think about it. He's been the Punisher for a while. I mean, I forget how many... They said how many years at the beginning. 5 years? I want to say it's been 5 years since then. Yeah, what the fuck do you call 125 murders in 5 years? Work in progress. That's fucking badass. Come on now. So, again, it's not an origin. The guy's been at it for 5 years, and this is what he's become. As someone would put it, a husk of a man. Like almost a zombie of a man. This is what vengeance does to you. You're just a guy that just has a mission. He goes on. He's not hunty fucking dory. He's just a shell of his former self. This is why Louis Gossett Jr. wants to help him, wants to get him out of it, or let me in, let me in. But I mean, and that's just me, I guess. I love the idea of using the Yakuza in this and having a female villain. I mean, that's pretty different and progressive to have a female villain. I mean, in a way, she's one of your lead villains, and that makes things definitely different and unique. I mean, how many action films of the 80s had a woman as your lead villain? And that makes things a bit different. We go to war. And I'm sure Punisher... you looked at that guy and you look at that Punisher and you're scared of him. I mean, he's not a guy you want to fuck with. Which, that's what the Punisher fucking should be. And the stuff between Louis Gossett Jr. and Nancy Everhard, I think, worked well. Punisher gives you the action and the damage of psychological warfare this guy's done to himself after 5 years of doing this. And then Louis Gossett Jr. has the humanity portion. Plus, you get a little bit of background Frank Castle without being too extraneous. And this has some pretty damn cool quotes. There's a limit to vengeance. Well, I just haven't reached mine yet. Of course, the sewers, the tunnel system. And also, I thought this was a risky venture. Like, this is ballsy. Like, you have a nanny with 2 little kids and be doing her job. Everything's nice and fine. They just shoot the shit out of her, head hitting their blood, and just right in front of the little kids. These bad guys don't fuck around, man. They do not fuck around. They do not fuck around. I think this was shot in Australia. That's why, New World Pictures Australia at the beginning. Sorry, I'm just watching it. Like I said, with the work print, with the opening, some people may say, I like that it's gone because you did right into the action and they already know how Frank Castle became the Punisher, so they didn't want the origin in there. I'm just saying, I think, for me, with that opening, it has a bit of a richer feel to it. But I always liked the theatrical cut as well. I know that on the Blu-ray there's a bit of an uncut version where there's a couple even bloodier scenes, some headshots, things of that nature. I punish the guilty. So at first Punisher's like, well, they don't want to kill each other, but then he's going to rescue these kids. Just to remind him of his kids. Like this wino guy some people complain about, I had no issues with it. I thought he worked fine. He's in the film only I don't know, maybe like 3 more times. I think Jeroen Krabbé did a good job here as your other bad guy. I think he fit the role well. He was natural. Decent camera work here, slowly panning up this table. Instead of just being a static shot. Yeah, 1989, I mean, a lot of movies in that time period. I think even if this got theatrical, it would have been buried. Because you think about 89, think of the summer of 89. You had Batman. Which is funny because they make a joke about Batman because Batman was coming out. Who you work for? Batman. Batman would have demolished the competition. You had Lethal Weapon 2. You had Ghostbusters 2. You had Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. You had Lethal Weapon 2. You had films like The Abyss would have taken some money out of it. It was a huge hit, but it would take some money out of it. It was a fully stocked summer. Like, think of it like compared to this summer of movies, it's nothing. Then think of the summer '89, like all those movies I listed, and more. Holy shit! Like holy shit! You have the front of being this business location, and you have this hidden sort of area up above for our illegal operations and training. And yeah, action films back in the day, man, just they give you your money's worth. They give you what you want. Again, whether it be Commando and the Rambo films and Die Hard. I mean, Die Hard just came out a year before this. Even your Dirty Harry's, the Deadpool. But your Commando. I mean, think about the previous year, '88. You had Bloodsport, Above the Law, Rambo 3, Die Hard, Broad Act Missing Action 3, They Live. I mean, this year, I mean, you had Tango and Cash later in the year. Unless it's a bit ballsy that, little kids are in jeopardy and could be killed, and, they get beaten up at times. Like something they just smack the shit out of. I mean, having kids in danger, I mean, it's not really a... It is, at least a bit of a ballsy idea. And gives the Punisher even more motivation to help out and also kill these motherfuckers. Like I said, this film gets a bad rap and it's underappreciated. Again, being ballsy, having kids in jeopardy, having bad guys be actual bad guys with the way they talk and the way they act, and they're fine with shoving kids down, and later on you'll smack them in the face, and I think right here he just smacked. There you go, boom. I mean, they're bad guys. They wouldn't fucking hold back. Female villains that wasn't the most typical in an action film in the '80s. Pacing. Pacing's an undervalued asset. Because there's so many films. Yes, there are films I like that are 2.5 hours long. But my God, there's a lot of directors and people who think their film is so art, they can't cut any fucking thing out. And who knows, maybe for a lot of people, cutting that opening scene of this movie worked out for the better for them, and they prefer it that way. Maybe so. Here we have our casino. Totally 80s type of casino. Going through all of the casino remnants. And you show that the Punisher really hates, slot machines. There's a part of me that when he has this big machine gun thing, he should have been shooting bad guys. Like with this big fucking machine gun, shooting the shit out of people. I think that would have been pretty insane. But you also gotta think with I would love to have seen that, but I wonder if it would have been too much too early. Because we're 35 minutes in. If you already have your Commando, Rambo 2 ending, where it's like, it's like, okay, where do you go? So. And maybe also with the MPAA, they were afraid. I mean, he did a nice knife to the neck. You'd be surprised what the MPA was doing at this time period. I mean, look at some of the Friday 13th films that, even in their uncut form, this would easily get an R rating nowadays. Hard Target, NC-17 version, it would get an R rating with no even hesitation. And sometimes you just want to see an action hero shoot the shit out of stuff. And I think that's why it's like I would want to do this. Get a machine gun just with this kick-ass music. Kind of like Predator with the jungle. I mean, this just looks fucking fun. Unlimited ammo. See, this is what happens when you get unlimited ammo. And he kills a couple people with it. Again, love the music. Love the pyrotechnics. Mark Goldblatt knows how to edit. Keeps it exciting. He just tore his place a new asshole. Again, if you try to make it too big, then you're not. That's one of the things that kind of happened with the Gray Man. Although I liked the Gray Man with Netflix, you had an action scene so great on this train, and when Ryan Gosling's character is handcuffed, and then there's this train scene. It was such a great action scene that when the finale happened, it wasn't. It was fine, but it wasn't as good. It's what we call blowing your load too early. So it's a balancing act, and you gotta take your picks. And I don't know, I'm of two minds. Part of me would love to have seen him shoot 50 people, in this fucking scene, but then would that be the highlight? And then would the movie then go down? I mean, it's of two minds. I have two reasons. Yeah, I love the look of Dolph. It just looks like a guy who just completely shattered of a human being. I think Dolph does a good job. He gets a bad rap, but I think he did a good job playing this just shattered human being. What's the thing? Show, don't tell? Yeah, show, don't tell. The way Dolph acts in his monologue, well, I guess he's telling with his monologues, but If this is like an amusement park facility. And that's another thing, is that if he killed a bunch of people, well then you're leading up to this where he does kill a bunch of people. So it's like, okay, you got a big destruction of property, and now this is where you're going to get your big body count sequence. I like the location as well. There's like abandoned, well not abandoned, but it's closed down amusement park. And this movie moves. I mean, we're about halfway through already. Because again, you take into account the end credits, we're halfway through the film. And Dolph Lundgren, I mean, like I said, Rocky IV, Ivan Drago, I do enjoy. Love, Red Scorpion. The Icon Piece is my favorite. This and Universal Soldier are close seconds. I mean, of course, Rocky IV is up there. Almost said Rocky V. Rocky IV is up there. But Men of War, Showdown Low Tokyo is up there. It's hard to pick like a top 5. But I know Icon Piece is my number 1. I know this would be in the top 5. Universal Soldier would be in the top 5. And they just come out of the fucking woodwork now. And of course, like a lot of action movies, you have the hero that is a dead shot that knows how to hit, and the bad guys don't know how to hit. But yeah, you get some grenade fun, some good stunt work there, pyrotechnics. Again, the bad guys can't hit anything, but the good guy can. It was also nice that Dolph used a little bit of martial arts, because by this point, you didn't really see. There's boxing Rocky IV. There's none of that in the He-Man movie. This is like maybe the first movie he got to utilize a bit of martial arts, which was great to see. And I don't know, that would hurt, those chains on the face, whether they were rubber or real or what, but chains right here to squish down your nose, that's going to hurt regardless. This is a pretty good stunt as well. Right there. Boom. And kudos to the stunt people. Yeah, I know that Dolph did, not everything, but he did a lot of the stuff here. And he's still not going to go down without a fight. But I was saying with Dolph, I mean, with Men of War, and there's a lot of underrated films, Army of One. But then, like I said, when he got to the mid-90s, he was in that film Johnny Mnemonic, where they kind of upped his billing, but he's not in the film that much. And I'm not even a big Johnny Mnemonic fan, to be honest. I don't love that movie. I really don't. I mean, it's better than Matrix 4, but that's not saying much. But yeah, it was mainly direct-to-video, like Hidden Assassin, Hidden Agenda. There's a film called The Minion. I'm trying to remember what they were. Pentathlon wasn't that good. Fuck, I can't remember half the fucking movies he was doing, man. Just, not a lot. This is where the Batman lines are going to come in. That'll be coming up in a little bit during this torture session. Here we go. Batman. I like that. Do you think I give a shit? Which is true. I mean, Punisher's not gonna care. If he dies, he dies. To steal Ivan Drago's quote. But he does care about the innocent, so when his buddy is in trouble, that's when things change. And I like the lady who plays Lady Tanaka. I thought she did a really good job. Or like, I have Dolph Lundgren's filmography. Rocky 4, great. Master Universe, I don't hate as much as I used to. Still not a favorite, but War Scorpion, very fun. Love Red Scorpion. The Punisher in my top 5 Dolph films. Icon One Piece, my all-time favorite Dolph film. Showdown Low Tokyo. Love Showdown Low Tokyo. Universal Soldier, love that one. Army of One, AT the Joshua Tree. I like. Oh, Cover Up. I forgot about that movie for a good reason. That one of his worst. Pentathlon, pretty bad. Men of War, one of his most underrated. Giant Mnemonic, not big on. The Shooter, I think that's Hidden Assassin. Very forgettable. Silent Trigger, decent movie. The Peacekeeper, for a direct-to-video film, like this is when he's getting more direct-to-video. And sadly, Men of War went direct-to-video. It shouldn't, but it did. But yeah, Hidden Assassin, Silent Traitor, The Peacekeeper, The Minions, Sweepers, those went direct-to-video. And some of them I do like. I mean, Silent Traitor, directed by Russell Mulcahy, who did Highlander. I like that one. Peacekeeper, for, Die Hard type of direct-to-video film, has pretty decent car chase among rooftops. Montel Williams is in the movie. Oh yeah, here we go. Sayonara. Now, I think they did a little bit of mess up there, because they show him unscrewing with one hand, but then he picks up with both hands. Now, if they showed him doing that thing with both hands, I could see, but you only see him unscrewing with one hand, not with both, because he grabs one and shoots the other. So I think that was a little bit of mess up there. I guess maybe you could assume he's doing it with the other hand, but I think they could have shown both hands unscrewing the handcuffs. Just, okay, he's going to get one hand free, but then the other hand goes up and grabs a guy as well. So, and it just showed the other hand unscrewing. That's always the thing that bothered me a bit. That just makes it seem, you can assume he's unscrewing with the other hand, but it makes it seem as if it's a screw up. Here you get a little bit of nice backstory with Louis Gossett Jr. He was looked at as a drunk, and the only one who believed in him was Frank Castle. And pretty much saved his soul, saved his life, and he wants to return the favor. And that Louis Gossett Jr. plays this scene fairly well. I'm guessing this is a real location, but I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, even like Sweepers, I don't mind with Dolph Lundgren. Bridge of Dragons, I didn't mind. And then we got into the 2000s, that's when it really got into dog shit. The Last Warrior, one of his worst. Agent Red, one of his worst. Hidden Agenda, completely forgettable. Jill Rips, miscast, wasn't right for Dolph. Retrograde, perhaps his worst film. Direct Action I liked. And that's when Dolph took a little bit more in control of his career after Retrograde. Again, perhaps his worst. He's like, okay, he wasn't going to direct a Defender, but he ended up directing it. Pretty decent. The Russian Specialist, also as the mechanic, he directed it. Pretty decent. Yeah, in the uncut version, there's some headshots here that's a little bit more violent during this sequence. But yeah, Dolph, like, command performance I like. And then after Expendables in 2010, you were hope, okay, Dolph's going to have a bit of a bigger career resurgence. No. No, it didn't happen, sadly. Because after Expendables, the next thing he fucking did was an Uwe Boll in the Name of the Team 2. Or a film with Cuba Gooding Jr. where he was second fiddle to Cuba called One in the Chamber. I like Battle of the Dam. That's the zombie robot film. It's a low budget, but it was fun. But then, you know, Blood of Redemption, War Pigs, Shark Lake was really bad. Dead Trigger was horrible. Don't like the Creed films. Here you go. Dude. Ouch. No, that's a headache. I mean, Dolph's still making films. He just can't do much physically because his body is broken down. I know he's in the Aquaman movies. He's doing this film with Scott Adkins called Castle Falls. I don't know about that. I mean, Dolph's directing it, and I mean, who knows? Maybe. But yeah. I mean, Dolph is still out there working. I don't know if I want to get into this. Well, okay, there's this thing going on nowadays with Sly, and he has a big complaint against Ern Winkler and producing these new Rocky stuff. Well, this is news that apparently, you know, like Stallone is making these Instagram posts complaining about Ern Winkler and how, you know, Stallone doesn't have the rights to Rocky anymore and they're milking the franchise and, oh my god, they're doing a Drago spinoff, there's talks of it, and Dolph, how dare you, why didn't you tell me? I'm sitting there going, what the fuck does Dolph have to tell you anything? If it's a job and it's work, I mean, and if you don't own it anymore, why does he need to tell you? I mean, did you tell David Morrell, the creator of Rambo, that you were doing Rambo 5 Last Blood? Let me ask you that, Sly. Hey, Sly, did you ask David Morrell, the creator of First Blood, you know, Rambo character, hey, yo, I'm doing Rambo 5 Last Blood. First Last Blood. Did you tell David Morrell and get his permission? I bet fucking not. So, you know, him getting pissed at Dolph. Granted, I think Creed 3 will suck. I don't think we need a fucking Drago spinoff. But I didn't think we needed Creed and Creed 2. I don't think we needed to do any of those fucking things to begin with. It's like we didn't need Rambo 5, we didn't need a Steve Plan trilogy, but like, come on, Sly. You want to talk about milking stuff dry? You want to talk? Getting Rambo 5? Saying yes to Creed and Creed 2? You could have said no. All this other stuff? Did a Steve Plan trilogy? And saying, oh, Dolph, he stabbed me in the back. Whatever, Sly. Jesus Christ. If David Morrell said, Sly, he stabbed me in the back, he's doing Rambo 5 without my input, people would have called David Morrell an idiot. So, I don't know. I love Sly, but no, he's not getting a pass from me. And Dolph, I mean, it's like, if he wants a paycheck, okay. Because Dolph never got the $20 million paycheck and high stats that you did, Sly. It's cool you had him in Expendables, but you know what you did with him in Expendables 2? Had him talk about whale ass. You know what you had him do in Expendables 3? Nothing. Just if you blinked, you miss it, and he's not in the movie. And then again, Expendables 2, he's talking about eating whale ass. So, yeah, To me, I understand Dolph doing paycheck roles because he never had that chance and opportunities to do stuff like that. And when he did, and to me they were good films like this one, like I Come in Peace, like Sholo Tokyo. Either the public took a shit on it, and I don't get it. If this exact same film was part of the MCU, probably to have glowing reviews. If you put Kevin Feige's name at the beginning, but then change the damn thing, it probably get like A plus, or you know, A minus, A minus. Fucking Captain Marvel people, well, critics gave a pass to. You give a pass to Captain Marvel, but not this, critics. Look at that, this is good stunt. Guy goes right in the bus. And he's still ready to fight. That is a pretty damn cool stunt. During this whole chase scene. Again, love the music, great job. Actually, I did have the CD of this. And there was actually interviews with the composer, like, near the end of the CD, like, if you skip to those tracks. That's why it would have been, I mean, again, I know there's features on an overseas Blu-ray, but it would have been nice to have, like, a big, nice US special edition. Because Umbrella, sometimes those Blu-rays work on certain players, sometimes they don't. Ooh, there you go. Did run over. And this movie goes at a good pace. It just, you know, not boring. It's never boring. Nice crash and burn there. Good use of pyrotechnics without CGI. Even when people do like makeup effects or blood squibs or stuff, they like add in CGI touches that makes it completely pointless of a venture. I'm like, you just make it. You took something that's not digital and you made it look more digital. What the fuck is the purpose of that? It's like we have squibs and real, effects, but we don't add in CGI, so now the whole thing looks CG. So it was a waste of fucking time. Sometimes I just don't get people. And what is so fucking awful about the movie? Yeah, the bad guys. Again, what is the fucking problem? Like, goddamn. Finally captured. And this is a really good dramatic scene for these two guys. Works really well. Sorry, I was looking up something. Busy. I mean, that's a way to put it. Busy. If you're guilty, you're dead. I think he says that in a little bit. And you kind of believe this guy when he says Frank is dead, because you look again, this former shell. And it makes sense. This is why Louis Gossett Jr. is so just frustrated with seeing just how different his friend is. That's why I think the opening would have been better to show, like, this is how Luz knew him beforehand, and this contrast of seeing this is how his friend is now. He was lively and energy and hopeful at the beginning. No, I'm not. What the fuck do you call 125 murders in 5 years? Work in progress. I think that's the perfect response from the Punisher. That is fucking perfect. I love that. I fucking love that. That's fantastic to me. This is a great scene. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Louis Gossett Jr. is not phoning it in. He's angry, he's frustrated, he hates what's happened to his friend. And you see that Dolph's character is just a shell of his former self. That's a damn good scene. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I guess I do give a fuck, otherwise I would not have brought it up, because if I truly don't give a fuck, then I wouldn't have brought it up in the first place. So I guess I truly do give a fuck, but... And if you missed it, the little girls, his kids have Spider-Man outfits, which is an ode to the Punisher's first appearance was in a Spider-Man comic book. Franco Columbo. No, not really. Fuck do you care? And then Dolph, I always thought was an underrated guy. That's why when the whole thing was Slide, now right now it's like, oh, Dolph, you stabbed in the back. I'm like, dude, he has no fucking control. The movie's not even going to be about him. It's going to be about this other fucking guy. In fact, I mean, I probably would rather say I'd rather see a Drago spin-off more than a Creed spin-off. I don't think we need a Drago spin-off, but I would see more of that than fucking Creed. And what the fuck you don't do with a Sly? You don't direct it? You don't do it? I mean, what, like John McTiernan has to be pissed that, they did Die Hard 2. Sly, just let it go, man. I did. The Winklers, Ern Winkler are probably dickholes. I could believe that. But goddamn, dude, just move on from Rocky. I get it, he was your baby, but you know what? Babies grow up and they hate their dads and they move the fuck on. Just with him, with the way he was sliding off Dolph, I just thought, just kind of shitty, but that's just my opinion. Sorry, now I'm just watching the film. Like, they know the Punisher is a bulldozer. They want to use him to... Which it just makes sense. I mean, you have a guy that, kills over 100 people. He seems like a pretty valued asset. Then here showcases that, a bit of Frank Castle is still alive. Deep down. caring for his friend. After this, you're dead. When this is over, you're dead. But yeah, 89, you also had like Jean Van Damme, had Tip Boxer and Cyborg. You had the first Best of the Best movie. Gleam in the Tube, that's an underrated one with Christian Slater. That's another one that Sally does not have. Has a release overseas, but has nothing here in the States, which sucks. Another underrated film, Gleam in the Tube. It's like everything else. And Punisher's like, get the fuck out of my face. I'm laughing because I love this scene here. Is IQ test required for this job? I didn't think so. Here goes pizza. And then it steals a little bit of slice. I love that. Then you get to the finale here where it's going to be the buys hitting the floor as well. Yeah, sorry, I'm not saying it now. I'm just focused on the movie. There's a limit to revenge. Vengeance. Revenge. Reach mine yet. I mean, that's the Punisher's point of view. That is true. And you want to see, him annihilate a whole room full of people? Well, here it comes. You get your chance and your shot. Here you go. Fucking annihilation. Boom. I think in the uncut this is a little bit bloodier, like a little bit few more up close shots of squibs. I did the uncut version is on the Blu-ray overseas, Umbrella. And sword. There you go. I mean, you want to see the Punisher punish some motherfuckers. This is the film to do it. Yeah, a gun beats a sword every day. You ain't fucking Deadpool. You ain't gonna be blocking bullets. I think you see that headshot a bit more in the uncut version. I believe. And God, we're getting close to the ending. We got, with the end credits, 18 minutes left. I try to remember with flashes from a gun, if they add in afterward, like little animation, or if they put that with the actual gun. I always thought that was weird because they're on either side. Wouldn't the bullets shoot them as well? Like they're shooting the bad guys, but they keep shooting out a little afterward. Wouldn't this bullet go into here and this bullet go into here? So wouldn't Frank and Columbo, like, wouldn't they kill each other? But I don't know. Just the bullets like stop in midair. I love this. Stab without looking. I always thought that was really cool. He just knows. But it's always weird, like, they're behind these little paper things and they're shooting these bad guys, but then they shoot a bit. Do the bullets just stop? No, they would keep going, but you know, it is what it is. Now, I think these... I know Dolph, the 3-4 minute interview, he tells a bit of the story on this one. That even though they were hired for the job, they didn't like that they had to lose. That sort of thing. And this is a taste of a... showcase a bit of Dolph's martial arts background. Pretty cool fight, too. Ooh. So, for such an enclosed room, it's a pretty decent choreography. There you go. Hang that up for Christmas. Now that's an ornament. Also a nice touch because of the power out, everything's in red, like blood red. But yeah, that kind of fits the Punisher, the whole blood red look to it all. I mean, I don't know if shooting this thing would actually work, but yes, it does. Ooh, nice kick. I said, you know, this movie is violent. As a Punisher film should be. Now, that's the thing with movies. Try lifting those damn sewer lids in real life. You won't be able to lift shit. Except maybe if you have one of those things, what the hell you call them, to maybe lift it. But they're, you know, they're not easy. It's not like they're made of, you know, paper or cardboard. Oh yeah, speaking of the skull, you got the skull on the knives, which is a cool detail. You know, I wonder if someone actually took the time, if they would just digitally input a skull on the Dolph shirt. But God, that would take so much fucking time. But I mean, like I said, if someone had a lot of time on their hands and knew how to do it, maybe they would. Love that. Just Dolph tackles the shit out of her. And the Punisher just comes out of, the woodwork. He's that bud that won't die. Yeah, another cool little choreographed fight. They didn't give him women equal billing as men. Not weak or anything. I mean, he fought 2 guys. Now he's fighting 1 woman who's giving him a run for his money. Things don't overpower. He's got those earring things that we established in the diner thing. Held the guy's hands to the wall. That was established early on the boat by her shoe, those blades. There you go. I'll maneuver her. And it is pretty brutal. Like, here's a lady and just loud. Again, Punisher don't give a fuck. If you're guilty, you're dead. Even the bit at the end where he warns the kid, you grow up to be a good man. Just if you don't, I'll be waiting. Pretty much, if you become like your dad, I'm gonna kill your ass. Pretty much, yeah, we're getting to the finale. I mean, we're getting to Dolph's final move on this lady, and then one final struggle. And there we go. Like, I don't even think in this cut you even realize that this guy had a hand in Dolph's, the death of Dolph's family. Like in the, word print version. I said that I think this film's underrated. I don't think it gets the credit it deserves. I don't think it's as bad as people give it. I honestly don't get what's so horrible about it. I'm tired of the fucking skull argument. You gotta give me more than the skull argument. I mean, the plot is ballsy, making children at risk. The bad guys are memorable. I know there's a book, I think, made on the making of the film. I never knew if that was out. To look up a bit. The Punisher, the untold story of an 80s cult classic. Cult classic. Just maybe it is. But yeah, we saw that great, knife to the head. I wonder if that book is available, or when it came out. Click on something, but like some people are like, oh, it doesn't have big guns and intense action. What the fuck movie are you watching? Doesn't it have big guns? I saw plenty of guns. Yeah. I guess they thought this movie had a fucking $50 million budget. Fuck, I mean, if you're talking about Captain America from 1990, I can understand. But this movie, really? Yeah, I'm looking at this. I don't know if this book's available anywhere. There you go. Of course, he's got the damn... Sorry, I'm trying to look up this damn book. But yeah, I don't know much other info about it. Yeah, I love the music in this. I know in the work print there's an alternate version where Dolph's character is a lot more angry, like, come on, shoot me! Huh, come on! And yeah, I think this is another interesting scene where this shows just how little Dolph's character cares about living or dying. He's ready to die to teach this kid a lesson. Like, he's fine with it. He's perfectly at peace with dying. Like, that's how fucking far gone. Even the kid realizes just how far gone this guy is. In order to teach him some kind of lesson. Now, I heard a rumor that Quentin Tarantino told Mark Goldblatt that he liked this movie. The remind of it because this kind of reminds me of Kill Bill Volume 1. Remember in Kill Bill Volume 1 where the bride looked at the little kid after she killed the mom and said, you know, when you grow up, if you still feel raw about it, I'll be waiting. And here Dolph says, you grow up to be a good man, because if not, I'll be waiting. A little bit similar to that scene in Kill Bill Volume 1. But Mark Goldblatt says, and I don't know why he would lie about it, but I don't know. And yeah, it makes me feel bad for Louis Gossett Jr.'s character. Once again, his friend is gone. He's not able to find him. I still talk to God sometimes. Ask me what I'm doing is right or wrong. I'm still waiting for an answer. Till I get one. Waiting. Watching. The guilty will be punished. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. This is a kick-ass movie. I have no idea what the fuck the issue is. It's got kick-ass action. It's got a rocking pace at hour and 24 minutes in and out. It's got an exciting musical score. Dolph, Louis Gossett Jr., they work well in the film. Ballsy plot of, the kids being in jeopardy. For its budget, it does a damn good job. And This is a kick-ass movie. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Even though I do give a fuck, but this is a badass movie. Always loved it. Still holds up to this day. Again, underrated film. I'll watch this over any of the fucking new Marvel shit. I'll watch this 10 times over Black Panther or Captain Marvel. Like Black Panther with that shitty CGI fight at the end. That looked like a goddamn cartoon video game. And by the way, this movie didn't have the budgets they had. And that still looked like shit. If they gave this film the budget Captain Marvel and Black Panther and fucking the Eternals had, for fuck's sake. Anyway, Dolph Lundgren rocks. The movie rocks. And that's all there is to it. At least to me. So, thanks for watching. Thanks once again, Ben. Take care, guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.